Okay, repeat after me. If I say solidarity knows no borders, you say refugees are welcome here. Solidarity knows no borders.
Refugees are welcome here.
Solidarity knows no borders.
Refugees are welcome here.
Thank you. We are the Refugee Buddy Project. We were set up in 2017 and work towards creating a culture of welcome and connect newly arriving people seeking refuge with the local community in Hastings and the surrounding areas. Together we socialise, we dance together, we eat together. We have over 400 people in our network. But all of this happens against the backdrop of the hostile environment, the government's deliberate hostility towards migrants and people seeking refuge. A British passport is a privilege, not a right. These are the words of our local MP, Sally Ann Hart. Last time I checked, citizenship and seeking refuge were a human right. And the new proposals which are being rushed through Parliament without due consideration and scrutiny will mean that they can strip our citizenship without any notice. And by ours, I mean people like me, who are the children of refugees and migrants who have built their lives here, contributed to this society, this country, fought in wars, worked in the NHS, transport, and are the real heroes of the pandemic. Yes, all of these people will become second-class citizens. If this bill goes through, across England and Wales, 2 in every 5 people from ethnic minority backgrounds can be stripped of their citizenship with no notice, even if they have never stepped foot outside the UK before. This bill means that the government will not provide notification if it's not reasonable or practicable to do so. This vague language allows for this clause to be flagrantly abused by our already hostile Home Office. The bill also discriminates against people seeking asylum depending on how they travel to the UK. For example, people who have desperately got on those boats that arrive here on our beaches, by the time they get here, they will be arrested rather than helped. Their claims for asylum won't even be heard. How can Sally Ann Hart talk about helping people seeking refuge when they are then closing the doors to them, threatening them with arrest once they arrive here? The people arriving on the boats are from places where there is no option of safe passage for resettlement. We arm oppressors across the globe and then shut doors to the humanitarian outcome of those wars. The majority of this bill is illegal and contravenes the International Convention on Refugees and the Human Rights Act. Britain, a place that should be proud to have created the Human Rights Act, is now a laughingstock for destroying it. Whilst there is a petition going around asking the Lords to remove Clause 9, this is just one element of the bill, and removing it will do little to lessen the overall hostility and racism in the bill as a whole. Although important, removing the clause will only negate the need for notice of removal of citizenship, coupled with the draconian new powers to arrest people for attending peaceful protests. This clause makes it incredibly dangerous for people like me to even attend an event like this, as it puts my citizenship at risk. When we started the Refugee Buddy Project, we wanted to create conversations between people. It's so important to create this connection between newly arriving migrants and people seeking refuge and the existing community. But this bill puts people like me on the back foot when talking about structural and institutional racism in the UK, as doing so makes me a target for loss of citizenship. It also creates an environment in which newly arrived migrants will be even less likely to speak up about the terrible situations they find themselves in terms of poor housing, lack of access to work and education, as doing so will increase the precarity and the likelihood of them being deported. So I say to you, carry on making the case against this bill to our local MP Sally Ann Hart, but also write to Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, who we know has made no reference to the passing of this unjust bill and has previously criticised Priti Patel for not meeting her targets on reducing immigration. Right to the Green Party, right to the Liberal Democrats. I include in this campaign all the political parties. Demand that all MPs unite against this draconian bill, as we cannot take people's support for granted because of where they sit politically. More importantly, we need to get organised. Right now, there are Home Office deportations vans going in and out of our local shops, nursing homes, and deporting people here in Hastings. As a community, we need to stand up to that. We need to protect our neighbours from this hostility. The arrival of people on our beaches and the ongoing deaths in the Channel is traumatic for our whole community. And the hostility of these events and the never-ending policies of hostile environment create community-wide trauma, which we can only address by organising and looking after each other. As a person who survived fascism in Chile in the late 70s, I never thought I would see this level of attack on marginalised people in the country which welcomed me and my family when we had to seek refuge. Future generations will look back at this time in the same way we look back at Pinochet in Chile and ask, what did you do during this time? Did you collaborate? Or did you stand in solidarity with refugees? Did you resist? I call on all the resistors here today to shout with me, solidarity knows no borders. Refugees are welcome here. Solidarity knows no borders.
Refugees are welcome here.
Thank you.